What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports Lovers. Welcome to, of course, Interview Week. We've done this here for like the past couple of years now. I want to say last year we interviewed some Auburn players. We interviewed a Miami commit as well. This year we are going to kind of keep it in state a little bit. We're going to interview a bunch of kids from around the state of Alabama for high school, preview the upcoming season this week as well. We'll also have predictions and stuff later on this week, so stay tuned for that one. This will be the first interview of the week. A couple more interviews. We're going to interview three-star quarterback commit Aiden Schamberger as well out of Spanish Fort. And then hopefully we will interview four-star Duke commit Deshaun Spencer out of Saraland as well. So Noah Moss is our guest here. I'm going to let him introduce himself before we hop into this interview.
Hey everybody, I'm Noah Moss. I play running back at St. Michael's, and I'm committed to the University of South Alabama.
All right. So first question here. Let us start by going back to last season. You guys made a deep playoff run last year, but came up just short in the semifinals against Jackson. As you reflect on that game and just the season as a whole, what do you think the team needs to do to get back to that stage and take the next step in winning a state championship next season?
Yeah, that Jackson game, it was tough. It was a really good game. Um, we battled all the way through the playoffs and got to that game, and we fought real hard in that game. But obviously, Jackson is a very talented team. We got a touchdown called back right before the half that kind of killed a little bit of our momentum. Unfortunate things that happen in football. But I'd say the most important thing for our team to get back to that point is not to think that we're just a lot of times you'll hear people tell us, like I'll have people come up and talk to me and be like, y'all just got to beat Jackson, you go to state. But we can't go into the season with that mindset, because we can get beat by anybody. We're not just roll out the helmet and we win. We really have to lock in every week. And I just say we have to have that mindset of being 1-0 every week and focusing on the next game, not worrying about Jackson because we're not that worried about Jackson. We just got to be 1-0 each week, prepare how we need to prepare, and take it one game at a time.
Yeah, Jackson is a really strong team, and they have a lot of guys returning this year. Football really is a game by game sport. That's for sure.
Of course.
So, talk about the energy around the team this year, and how is this year's team different from last year's in that sense?
Yeah, so we're really excited as a team this year. I'm especially me, I'm really excited about our team this year. Um, we didn't lose a bunch of seniors. We lost Rocco, our left tackle. He's big. He's a super athlete. He did everything for us. We lost John, our left guard. We lost Toby. He was an all-around player on defense. We lost Ollie. We lost a few key players, but we have a lot of young guys coming up that are going to be able to contribute a lot. Braden Walton and Nigel Mitchell, Jack Kurth. We have a few people that are young, but they'll be able to contribute this year, and they'll be big parts of our offense and defense this year. I just say, I'm just real excited. We'll be a deep senior team. We have a lot of seniors. That's an important thing. That's a lot of experience amongst the guys, a lot of leaders. So we'll be an old team, but we'll have some young talent too.
Yeah, it also helps that you get your quarterback back for another year as well with Gunner, right?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right. So let us talk about your recruiting journey as a kind of talk about how that whole process played out for you, and how many offers did you end up with, and what made South Alabama stay or stand out as pretty much the right fit for you, and how much did it mean to you to be in state as well?
Okay. So I believe I finished. I mean, obviously the recruiting process is never finished, but as of right now, I finished with, I think, 16 offers. My first offer came from Harvard, maybe 2 months after the season, something like that. It was pretty early on in the spring, and that's actually my first one came from Dartmouth, sorry. And then like a few minutes later after I got off the phone, it was Harvard. And the recruiting process for me, it felt a little bit late. I felt like some of the things came a little bit late. I started to get a little bit discouraged, if I'm going to be honest. But once those things, it started to pick up real fast after I got those first couple. It started with some of the Ivy League schools, and then I started talking to Navy and Air Force, and then Army West Point, and then some smaller schools around here, and then UAB and South. Um, it was a fun process to feel like, wow, all these schools want me. I got to go visit some schools. I got to spend some time with some coaches, meet some really great coaches. that it was hard to turn down some of the coaches. Some of the people I met, they were great guys and definitely men I'd want to spend my time around throughout my time in college. For South Alabama, I'd say what made it stick out to me was obviously it's close to home. I have a lot of family in this area, so that was something that's important to me. Um, it's a good football program too, obviously, and they won a lot of games last year. They're going to be good this year. I like Coach Fobbs, the running back coach who recruited me. He's a good man. I really enjoyed the time I spent with him when I was on my official visit. I really felt like I got to know him as a person, and he seems like a good guy for me to spend these next 4 years real close to. And then Coach Applewhite, I appreciated him when we had our visit, and I decided to commit. What I really liked about him was how brutally honest he was. He wasn't trying to fluff me or BS me at all. He was just being honest with me and kept it straight. And I appreciated that. Even if he wasn't trying to sugarcoat everything and talk me up, it was genuine, and that's something I appreciate in a coach.
Yeah, definitely. Relationships is kind of what builds recruiting, and I've learned a lot about that, especially being around Auburn, the Auburn football team, because I know a couple of those guys, and I've been around that a lot. And playing college football 26 definitely helps a lot as well, trying to learn recruiting and stuff like that. But talk about, we're going to move to a different part of the football field, I guess you would say. Talk about how you've grown as a player throughout your 4 year career at St. Michael's, and how has Philip Rivers and the rest of the St. Michael staff helped you grow both on and off the field?
Yeah, so actually, I haven't been at St. Michael all 4 years. I grew up in Colorado. I played on Cherry Creek High School. They're like the big school in Colorado. I grew up on that feeder team from first grade through eighth grade. I played at Cherry Creek as a freshman. That was kind of where I was at. And to be honest, I had a football wasn't I started to get burned out of football. So I came to Alabama um going into my sophomore year, maybe 3 weeks before the season started. I met Coach Rivers about 2 weeks before the season started when I went to tour St. Michael. And I really didn't plan on playing football at all. Like when I got here to Alabama, I hadn't worked out. I hadn't done a football workout in 9 months. And I met Coach Rivers, and when I was touring St. Michael, still didn't plan on playing football, but I ended up deciding that it's what I want to do. Coach Rivers was it was a big part of that. And so my sophomore year, I was definitely underprepared to play varsity football. That was the first time I really played football. I hadn't been working out. I wasn't ready for it, but it was a good year to, learn how varsity football goes. And then my spring going into my junior year, that was when I put a lot of work in the weight room. I gained probably 20 pounds. Obviously, I knew the offense pretty well by then, had gotten close to my coaches and teammates. And that's what allowed me to have the season I had last year. And as far as like Coach Rivers and my coaching and stuff, Coach Rivers is a great coach. We run like a real offense. Some of the schools around here don't really run real plays, but we run real plays. Coach Rivers has prepared us for all the guys that are going to go to the next level, like in D1 football. We'll be better prepared than some people with the offense we run. He's a good coach. He brings a lot of energy. Like some coaches try to stay like nonchalant or something, but Coach Rivers brings a lot of energy, and that kind of helps us as a team in terms of getting fired up and stuff. All the other coaches, Coach Quarterpassy, Coach Lopez, Coach David, they're all great coaches that I've enjoyed spending time with, and they've helped me develop a lot as a player.
Yeah,
And
good.
one more
No,
thing I would say is the last thing I like to say about our coaches is that they're all pretty good men too. So not only do they help us to develop as football players, but they're good examples for us to be around as like players, like growing into young men. And I'd say that's something that helped a lot is, our coaches are good influences on us, and they don't just let us do whatever we want to do. They, kind of give us structure and guidance. So that's another thing that I think helps in a lot of areas.
yeah, definitely good when coaches aren't kind of, like just there for football. They're there to help young men or
And that's,
young boys, I guess, become men
that's what it's
into
about
that
at the end
role.
of the day, because football ends for everybody.
Right. So, preview this season, and I don't know if this question may be a little bit I don't know, just out of the blue, but is there a certain game this season that you are most looking forward to playing this year in the fall?
I'd say there's a few. Bayside, I'll start with that's our first game. That's St. Michael's rival, and I have yet to play them. I didn't play them sophomore year because I had gotten a concussion. I didn't play them last year because I had strained my hip flexor. So I just kind of like want to get in on the rivalry a little bit. I haven't played them. Bayside, and then I guess Mobile Christian after that. That's our senior night, and I think senior night will be pretty special for all the guys that are seniors. And then most importantly, I'd say I'm excited to play Jackson. I want to take my best shot at them and hope that we can beat them and pass them on and go to state.
Jackson and Mobile Christian both are really, really good programs as well in the state of Alabama too. So, last question that I have for you: when it's all said and done this season, what do you want to be most known for at St. Michael's, and what do you want your high school legacy to be known for?
That's a really good question. Um, I think the most important thing I should be known for, or I should want to be known for, is, being a good example to younger people. That's something I remember being a freshman and, looking up to seniors and stuff and thinking they were so cool. And a lot of seniors influenced me in good ways. And some of the seniors, like when I was at Creek, some of that they were great guys. They inspired me to work harder, be better. Um, and now I've realized something that's kind of has come to shock to me is like I'm that senior now, and I think that most importantly, I should influence the younger people that are maybe looking up to me in a good way. But also, I want to put in as much numbers as I can. I want to have a good season, try to beat all the record or all the stats I had last year and all that stuff. But I think most importantly, just being a good influence on the younger people.
All right, that is going to do it for our interview with three-star running back commit Noah Moss out of St. Michael Catholic. He is committed to South Alabama. Hopefully, next year he'll be able to play, and you guys can really learn and see who this man is because this man can dominate on the football field. That is for sure. Really quickly before I let you loose, anything you would like to say before we hop off and just shout out anybody like that? I'll give you the chance to do so before we hop off.
Yeah, I just say anybody who's listening to pay attention to St. Michael this year. We're gonna be hot, and yeah, go Jags too. Jay's up.
Yes, sir. Jay's up right there, baby. Thank you for joining us. Hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. Like I said earlier in the video, we will interview Aiden Schamberger next. That should be tomorrow. And then Duke four-star commit Deshaun Spencer should be on Wednesday. So hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. Thank you, Noah. I will leave all of his socials in the description so you guys can go follow him over on Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace.